story of PocketTown is one of a prolonged war against their fiercest rivals, the Sirconn City Gangsters. In this tale, you'll dive into the street history of both PocketTown and Sirconn City, tracing back to the 1980s and 90s.
Montana, you on YouTube, Kyle? What's the word, Kyle?
Man, we out here. What's your name?
Yeah, it's Lil Les. I'm back down. Everybody thought I was going for that pistol, but no, I'm the ant, you know what I'm saying? That's my man's 100 grand. He can get anything he wants from me, man. I love that man to death, you know. Man, that's what he did was up, but soon as they release that hold off my man's bond on my kids, I'm going to get him. His bond 9 racks. He will be out, don't worry about it. He will be out next month. He coming home, don't even worry about it. You know what it is, L's up all day. Rest in peace, Shaquilla. Rest in peace, Zico. Lil Pez NT. What up, Ward? What up, Jeffrey Manor? We out here. PocketTown crazy. In the building, man.
You already know we got your boy Corey Town, Mo Block, PocketTown, Gangstaz, CTG, we in here.
What's bustin', it's your boy 5, we got Workshop. We got ATO, better known as Lil Les, representing PocketTown. Y'all know how we do it, East Side. Why, for some reason, y'all two look alike. Man, you said something earlier that caught my attention. You said PocketTown. What you mean?
PocketTown, man. You know, everybody know about the pocket over east, man, or somewhere in Chicago. If you don't know about the pocket, man, you gotta get up on them boys.
So hold on. When you say pocket, you talking what? Lil Les talking about?
No, we talking about PocketTown,
Corey.
Shorty, Rico, Lil Pez, we talking about Vaughn, Cutthroat Vaughn, you know, we talking about all them guys. Tamar, all them guys, man.
Oh man, that's crazy. So y'all from that.
The story of PocketTown is one of a prolonged war against their fiercest rivals, the Sirconn City Gangsters. In this tale, you'll dive into the street history of both PocketTown and Sirconn City, tracing back to the 1980s and 90s.
I took the best pictures on your Yo, we on YouTube, man. What's the word? What's the word? Huh? Huh? What's the word? Pig. Huh? What's the word, huh? Huh? We out here.
You know these motherfuckers.
Just wait until they Hey, you on YouTube, what's the word?
What's the word? Recipes, my favorite cousin brother. You already know how we out here.
And we out here, F up,
We
on YouTube, what's the word, Nene? What's the word?
We out here, shorty Trey shit.
Huh?
Turn
What's
up.
the word?
Turn up.
Pig. Huh? You on YouTube, man. What's the word, man? Huh?
Outside for Pharaoh.
Get it, man. Jay.
Hey, you on YouTube, man. What's the word, man?
We outside for Pharaoh.
Jono World.
Huh?
Pharaoh.
What's the word, little bro?
What's the word, little bro?
You already know. Hey, Montana, you on YouTube, Kyle. What's the word, Kyle?
Man, we out here. We out here. Catch out traffic.
Hey, let me see your tattoo.
Boys.
Huh?
We out here. They know what it is. 1400.
Pig.
Jay. We out here. This real ass nigga, I'm a real ass.
Pig, you already know.
A little spoon. A little Rello. I'm Danny G.
Tracing back to the 1980s and 90s, discover the rise of drug lords like Nate Hill, the origins of the conflict with Sirconn City, and the emergence of other adversaries. Today's focus is on two key figures from PocketTown, Spook and Denny G, who are not only recognized members with formidable reputations, but are also closely connected to KTS Vaughn, KTS Dre, and Rio G. But for this story, I will mainly focus on Lil Les, whose real name is Lester Owens, also known as One Eye Shooter or PocketTown General, was a Chicago #1 savage. His name started ring bells since young Shorty, he jumped off the porch at very young age. His body's count is said to be double digits. Before the age of 17, he was arrested over 17 times. Lil Les was a household name in East Side and South Side Chicago. Lil Les never show no mercy. He killed Jarvis Smith, who JARO City is named for. Many people act like Vaughn the only one making noise. Lil Les, aka PocketTown General, and Melio 5 Young Money were the biggest names in the city with double digits bodies under the belts. I remember Breezy tweeted, "JARO ain't been on shit since Lil Les blew Jarvis face off," or something like that. And according to the court document, Lil Les, whose government name is Lester Owens, is currently serving a 24-year sentence for 2 charges of aggravated battery with a firearm for a 2007 shooting in the Woodlawn neighborhood. Lester continues to fight for his innocence, as false and coerced testimonies are the only evidence that convicted him. On the night of July 13, 2007, Lester Owens was recording music with his manager and producer at the Head Knockhouse studio on 35th and Paulina when a shooting occurred at 7321 S. Greenwood. 2 people were shot, Willis Overstreet and Shanice Thompson. Allegedly, around 10 p.m. a gold SUV pulled up and 4 masked individuals wearing all black jumped out and started shooting at Michael Ellis, his brother Stavo Ellis, Joel Jones, Joel's brothers Vergie and Johnny Jones, and Joe's cousin Yovan. Outside at that time were Joel's father, John Jones, and his father's friends Husk and Shanice. Because the group immediately ran away from the gunfire, Joel did not have time to see the face of any of the shooters. When he returned to the scene to check on his family right after the shooting, he was handcuffed and made to lay on the ground before being put in the back of a squad car by Sergeant Brian Forberg, Detective Kevin Eberly, and Officer Poblador. While no one there claimed to have seen the shooters, the officers insisted the witnesses knew and were hiding it. Despite no witnesses to the shooters' identities coming forward initially, Sergeant Brian Forberg and Detective Kevin Eberly continued their investigation in the weeks and years after the shooting. Michael testified in his 2021 affidavit that the two were investigating around the neighborhood every day, and asserted to Joel that Johnny, Javon, and Michael knew that the shooter was Lester Owens, aka Lil Les. Both Joel and Javon had told Bryant Larkin that they didn't think Lester did it. Joel and Javon even celebrated Lester's birthday with him 2 years later, on August 17, 2009. Joel, Javon, and Michael testified in affidavits that Forberg and Eberly pressured them to be witnesses or they would pin drug charges on them. Though Joel repeatedly told Forberg and Eberly that he did not see the shooter's face, they falsely stated that they had incriminating DNA evidence and knew what happened and what Joel saw. Forberg and Eberly repeatedly visited 35th and Paulina and threatened to arrest people hanging out in the area if they did not help identify Lester as the shooter. Michael and Johnny saw Forberg and Eberly every day for months after the crime. Eventually, Johnny convinced Michael that they should talk to the police to make the drug charges pinned on them go away. Michael testified that Forberg asked him to identify the shooter, saying, "We need you to say it was Lil Les, Lester, and it's open season on you guys right now," but that they could tell their 3rd Police District to be easy on them. Forberg told Michael what he thought happened. One of the shooters adjusted his mask, exposing an eye patch that the victims, Michael and Johnny, saw. Lester is known for the eye patch he wears that covers his missing left eye. Forberg then told Michael, "Just say yes." Michael insisted that Forberg emphasized that he only wanted Lester. Michael claims he only testified against Lester because there was a warrant for his arrest if he didn't show up. In the days and weeks following the shooting, Forberg and Eberly coerced the same witnesses who initially couldn't identify the shooters into saying that they saw Lester Owens take his mask off as he was fleeing the crime scene. When it was time for Lester to start trial, those same witnesses refused to appear in court to testify, and only appeared in court after warrants were issued for their arrest. Officer Poblador, who chased the offenders on the night the shooting took place, even testified at Lester's trial that he never saw any of the offenders take their mask off, and that the offenders were so covered up, he couldn't even tell what race they were. The witnesses who testified that they saw Lester take his mask off have since stated in the referenced affidavits that they never saw Lester, and only said they did because Forberg and Eberly threatened to put drug cases on them, and put them in jail if they didn't. It was not until 2010 that Lester would be convicted of the charges for shooting Michael and Shanice. At the court date, Bryant was told by Lester's defense that it was not necessary for him to testify despite the urging from Lester, his connection to the victims, and his witnessing the aftermath of the shooting from his home on 7315S Greenwood. In addition to Michael and Johnny, Joel testified at Lester's trial, where he said that he also recognized Lester as the shooter when he lifted his mask, seeing his missing eye. Though Joel later told private investigator Michael Maddox that he did not see the face of the shooter and only testified because he did not want a bogus charge pinned on him. Lester was 17 years old when he was wrongfully charged with 2 aggravated batteries with a firearm and was sentenced to 24 years at 85%. Judge Timothy Joyce, who decided the bench trial, was supposed to give Lester 1 count, but decided on 2 because of pending cases that had been pinned on him and because he took the court system as a joke. Jerome Garrett identified himself, Rashad Wilson, Stephen Carson, and a friend named Paris as the shooters that night in a later 2016 affidavit. Jerome admitted that Lester was not there that night in the car or at the shooting, but he was afraid to come forward on Lester's behalf because he feared admitting his presence and involvement in the shooting. Lester's distinguishing eye patch made him an easy link to a crime with no witnesses. Despite despite his alibi as to being elsewhere recording hip-hop music is affirmed by his manager and producer, who were with him at that time. Lester has now served 13 years for a crime he didn't commit. He has endured cruel treatment while incarcerated across the state. Chief Judge Serradero did a thorough search and granted special prosecutors in all the cases involved with Forberg and Eberly. Lester fights for his freedom with the help of loved one Jasmine Smith and attorney Geneva Penson. Lester and others who have experienced similar treatment from Sergeant Brian Forberg and Detective Kevin Eberly are currently appealing their convictions. Jasmine and Geneva have found out that Forberg and Eberly are married to members of the state's attorney's office, revealing that the collusion in these cases extends to the wider court system in Illinois. On September 24, 2006, 19-year-old Damian Kendricks was shot and killed. Some of Damian Kendricks' family members claims Sirconn City Gangsters. The incident was over a basketball game. The word around the street, it is alleged also Jamar one of his killers. This was a personal murder. Other dude got released, killed another one of her family members. Did it say one of her son killers was released and awaiting trial for the murder of another family member? One of his killers was pointed to Rico Clark, PocketTown, and he was sentenced to 55 years in prison for that. However, many people, activists rally for man believed to be wrongfully convicted of 2006 murder. Rico Clark was convicted of crime activists say he did not commit. Community leaders rallied outside the Cook County Courthouse Monday morning ahead of his court hearing. Community activists gathered at the Layton Criminal Courthouse on Monday to protest what they assert is the wrongful conviction of Rico Clark, currently serving a 55-year sentence for a crime they claim he did not commit. Rico Clark, who was back in court for a status hearing, is facing charges related to the 2006 murder of Damian Kendricks. However, 2 of the 3 witnesses in the case have recanted their previous testimony, alleging that detectives coerced them into making false statements. Amidst the growing scrutiny on the case, Clark's lawyers are prepared to petition for all charges against him to be dropped. The Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression is now calling for clemency, emphasizing their accusation of coercion against detectives Brian Forberg and Kevin Eberly. This corrupt system has been putting away my 2 loved ones and other people's loved ones for far too long. And today we're saying enough is enough. Every day we're going to come out here for court support. Every day we're going to come out here to bring awareness to these wrongful conviction cases and also these torture cases, said Jasmine Smith, a community activist. The activists are demanding accountability, particularly for the detectives involved. While Forberg has retired, they are calling for both Forberg and Eberly to be fired from the police force. Despite the allegations, the detectives have never been charged for the alleged crimes against them. Furthermore, getting in depth of the story of PocketTown, there are others members like Nate Hill, which I will explain soon or later in the next story. Nate Hill has very interesting story.
Any minute now, we will hear whether an Illinois inmate will walk free. Rico Clark's case is under review by a review panel. CBS 2's Marissa Perlman is live in the newsroom tracking this case. Marissa?
Well, Jim, that panel will decide whether to recommend him to Governor Pritzker's office for clemency. Again, we expect that decision to come down here any minute now. In 2006, 19-year-old Damian Kendricks was shot and killed in an alley. Witnesses say they saw 4 men in hoodies running from the scene holding guns, but Rico Clark was the only one convicted and sentenced to 55 years in prison. This morning, supporters rallied outside of the Bolandic building for Clark, who has been claiming his innocence for 16 years now. His lawyers say he was wrongfully convicted on coerced witness testimony. 2 of the 3 witnesses who named Clark as the shooter recanted at trial. They testified 2 Chicago police detectives forced them to make statements. One of those officers is Chicago Police Sergeant Brian Forberg. He is one of the highest paid active officers in the Chicago Police Department. The Invisible Institute database shows 38 allegations have been made against Forberg during his career. And advocates for Clark say there's never been any physical evidence to link him to this case.
There's no evidence that he did the crime. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary. There were witnesses who recanted. So this is a classic frame-up case that the Chicago Police Department has perpetrated against a number of people.
So today we're not asking, we're telling Governor to do what we know that he can do. This is another human who's been kidnapped from his family.
Clark's brother Lester Owens was also arrested by Sergeant Forberg. He too is fighting his own wrongful conviction case. We'll bring you the latest from the clemency hearing as soon as that decision comes down. Live in the newsroom, Marissa Pearl.
Well, it's been a 16-year-long fight to free a man who says he was wrongfully convicted.
Tia Ewing is back in studio with details.
Well, Natalie and Scott, his name is Rico Clark, and that decision on if he will be granted clemency hasn't come down yet. Clark is currently serving a 55-year sentence for the 2006 murder of Damian Kendricks on the South Side. The campaign to free incarcerated survivors of police torture is asking that he be granted clemency. Police say witnesses saw 4 men running from the scene holding guns. Clark was the only one named by witnesses, and that was the only evidence tying him to this case. Clark has maintained that he's innocent all these years. Today, there was a clemency hearing where a panel will decide if Governor J.B. Pritzker should allow him to go free. His family and friends spoke, and so did the family of Damian Kendricks.
They stole him away from us 16 years ago. He got a daughter. His daughter is 16. He doesn't have a relationship with her. I got a call, and I know you guys have family, you guys have kids, you guys have brothers, uncles. This can happen to y'all. I got a call last month from Rico and Lester, both in the same day, going through detrimental crisis behind these prisons.
I speak for Damian, the young man taken too soon who never got the chance to fully live his life and learn his true potential. The soft-spoken kid with the infectious smile and silly laugh. Unfortunately, Rico is not the only person living with the results of his actions. Every day, we also feel a huge void left by Damian's absence. To lose him
Well, the witnesses have since recanted their statements, saying they were coerced by Sergeant Brian Forberg. He is one of the highest paid active officers in the Chicago Police Department.
Anyway, the brief short story of PocketTown, Lil Les, Rico teaches many life lessons. We learn everybody's faith is not your faith. Speaking about that, however, you have to understand, most of these people had close friends, fathers, uncles, fallen in the street, on the hands of the rival's trigger's fingers, so it's more of kill or get killed type of the situation. It's more like if everybody got gun and you have none and things goes left, how would you protect and prevent yourself from shot fire, bulletproof your hands, dodge the bullets? It's not to romanticize, it's reality. Betrayal never comes from your enemies. It always comes from your close people. Furthermore, what did we learn from this story? Nothing lasts forever. It is a sad circle. The killing circle continue. Prayers going out to those trying to recover from passing of their loved ones. Prayers going out for those incarcerated and those on that path. I send deepest sympathy to all the fallen. The families of the fallen are in pain, and some still mourns up to this day about their loss of their beloved fallen. Rest in peace to all the fallen on both sides. My condolences to all parents who lost the fallen street soldiers in the trenches of Chicago and across America. God bless Chicago and Illinois as whole. God bless the children of the fallen fathers and mothers in the trenches of Chicago. God bless all. Just a moment of silence for all the fallen, and whatever you do and your mission, keep on your mind. Some people aren't loyal to you, they only loyal to their need from you. Once their needs and mission accomplished, so does their loyalty. They may turn back on you. It's more like you have to put your back on the wall. Everybody ain't loyal, but loyalty makes you family. In this pieces of documentary, it's all about choices people made. Most of the people in this series were great people at many points in their lives, with many instances. But due to the pressure and the environments they from, there are many revenges, killings, and retaliations, and circle continue. Many became vicious because of the productivity of the environment. Anyway, I created this series so the steppers, shooters, drillers, society, youth, or kids can learn in making rational decision instead of making harsh, emotional decision, which leads many people to lose their lives, or rats telling, or get life sentence, or judges bang their gavels after passing a judgment and give you 100 or 200 years and spend the rest of your lives in prison. Rather value to your beloved children, wife, and family as whole. Nothing lasts forever, and forever can't be young. Every beginning has an end. That's the tragedy and the miracle of existence. That everything is impermanent. Everything changes. All we can do is make the best of the time we have. Death is a difficult subject for many people, but we can learn from others' death. Many fallen street soldiers left their kids, mothers, families, and it's always hard saying goodbye to a loved one. Everything passes. Joy, pain, the moment of triumph, the sigh of despair. Nothing lasts forever. So I decided to present to you this series to the youth and young kids to learn. Please do me a favor to share to as many people you can to raise awareness. Someone so special can never be forgotten. May all the fallen souls rest in peace. I can't imagine what you must be feeling right now for families lost their relatives or loved ones. My heartfelt condolences. My condolences to them and their families on the passing of all fallen soldiers in this episode. May our prayers ease them through their difficult time. May fond memories of all families bring them comfort during the hard time in their life. My heart and prayers go out to them and their family. But before we end this story, please all make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Thumbs up like the video is very important before we end the video. Share this piece of the series so we can continue to raise awareness. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.